I listened to a podcast recently and they were talking about a man who had challenged himself not to tell a single lie for an entire year. And in the process, he had lost friends and, let's just say, things hadn't always been easy for him. Now, as someone who regards herself as rather straightforward and honest, my initial reaction was, how hard can it be? But then I got curious and I started researching articles and studies on lies, and I wanted to know, how often do people actually lie in everyday life? And as I was researching, I realized that just like myself, most people consider themselves to be honest human beings. However, according to studies, we may be lied to anywhere from 10 to 200 times a day. And strangers lie 3 times within the first 10 minutes of meeting each other, and often without realizing it. Now, how about the lies we tell ourselves? Well, it turns out there are plenty of those, and many consider those lies to be worse than the ones we tell others. We self-deceive, we lie because there's a gap between who we are and who we actually want to be. We lie because we want to escape the truth, and we want to avoid change, and we want to guard our feelings, and the list goes on. Now, with all of this, I took a step back and I asked myself if I'm really as honest as I think I am. Perhaps I do lie too. I sometimes lie when I say, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Yeah, my Uber driver took the wrong turn, but I'll be right there. Or how about the times when I receive something and burst out, wow, it's beautiful. Thank you so much. Look, I know you say you hate chokers, but hey, try new things. Isn't that what you always say in your videos? Yeah. See, I listen. Yep. And then there's also the classic, wait, so what you're saying is my favorite singer is in town and it's 1 minute from my house and admission is free? Wow, I really wish I could make it today. I really can't. So I decided to treat the following week as an experiment. The goal was to not tell a single lie for an entire week, not to anyone else, and most certainly not to myself. How hard could it be? I quickly realized that I wasn't completely off when I said that I'm an honest person, because there weren't many instances that week where I wished I could lie, even just a little bit. But I did acknowledge the temptation of sugarcoating and altering my words in order to avoid awkwardness or avoid worrying someone or to guard my feelings. I remember one instance in particular where I was with someone and they asked me what was on my mind, and in that moment, what was on my mind was regarding my feelings towards that person. And normally, I would have kept quiet because I just didn't feel like having that conversation. But instead, I was honest about it, and I told them how I felt. And was it scary? Yes, but more than anything, it felt good. It felt liberating, and it went well, thankfully. And ultimately, I think that was the biggest takeaway from this challenge, that honesty feels good. And I think being honest to yourself and to others makes life a lot easier. And if we lie, there's no real way of bettering ourselves or bettering our relationships or our careers or essentially our lives, because you can't better what's not already there. And one thing that was interesting to me was that a few times I caught myself thinking, does this count as a lie? If I just stay quiet or change the subject, does that mean I'm lying? If I avoid a certain scenario because I know that scenario is going to put me on the spot and require me to speak the truth, am I a liar? Another thing that was challenging and that studies show as well is that we don't always actually know when we're lying. Sometimes it's purely unintentional and we actually believe what we're saying, even if it's not the full truth. Now, as for the experiment, I didn't find the week to be particularly difficult. Perhaps if I had a more outgoing and extroverted life, where I met tons of people every day, it would have been more of a challenge. But, who am I gonna lie to? My plants? Do I think honesty is always the best policy? I think in 99.9% of the times, yes, probably. As for the remaining 0.1%, I don't think society would go around if everyone was being brutally honest all the time. I mean, deceit and lying has been part of our culture forever, and human beings aren't the only species that bluff. There are plenty of liars in the animal kingdom as well. Like squirrels, for example. They pretend to hide non-existent nuts and then cover them with dirt and leaves to keep potential food thieves away. So even squirrels are liars. Now back to human beings. I do think that certain white lies are harmless and sometimes necessary if they can spare someone from pain or if they can protect us or someone we care about, but it's not obvious to me where that line should be drawn. Now, I would love to hear from you all. Do you think that honesty is always the best policy? Where do you draw the line for when a lie is okay and when it's not? And what was the last lie that you told? Now, if you would like to support me and this channel, you can do it on Patreon, where I'll also post bonus content.
Have you ever had the inclination to cheat on a partner? This might sound brutal, but to me, cheating is essentially...
And you can also follow me on my Instagram if you would like to see what's going on in my life in between videos. But the absolute easiest way to support me is to like this video and to subscribe and to click the bell notification button. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one.